decisive battle of the Iraq War.
Fallujah was the only enemy stronghold left in Iraq.
A city teeming with terrorists.
Fallujah is unlike any city that the American military ever trained for.
The toughest urban warfare since Vietnam.
It's the craziest feeling in the world when you're out there and there's chaos going on all around you.
I could hear gunfire all over the place. We knew that we would have to fight every inch, every step, every block.
Told through authentic battlefield footage, cutting-edge graphics, and eyewitness accounts from the heroes who survived. This is the Battle of Fallujah, as never before told.
It was baptism by fire.
November 7th, 2004. Iraq. 40 miles west of Baghdad lies the city of Fallujah. A coalition force assembles around the city, ready to launch an assault. Saddam Hussein has been defeated, but the 8 square miles of Fallujah have become a haven for militants opposing U.S.-led operations in Iraq. And for them, the war is far from over.
Everybody knew that we were going to have to go back into the city because the insurgents started developing Fallujah as a base of operations. And you can't allow that to happen.
8 months earlier, insurgents brutally ambush 4 U.S. security contractors and torture them to death. The images of their abused bodies send shockwaves around the world. America's first campaign to retake the city succumbs to political pressure and ends in retreat. Since then, as many as 3,000 insurgents have gathered here, all itching for a fight. First Marine Division Commander General Richard F. Natonski is in charge.
You really had a festering cancer just outside of Baghdad where the enemy could operate with impunity.
The mission, Operation Phantom Fury, calls for a carefully designed inter-service battle plan.
One of the things that was really important when we commenced the battle was speed. We wanted to bring the battle to a conclusion as quickly as we could.
For the task, Natonski has 28 tanks and 12,000 ground troops, mostly U.S. Marines.
That was probably the greatest concentration of combat power anywhere on the face of the globe at that time.
Still, a tall task lies ahead, as Fallujah has 50,000 houses, and every one of them has to be cleared before the city is safe. Staff Sergeant Marty Gonzalez knows the first battle of Fallujah went horribly wrong.
I got out of the Marine Corps in 2002. I did my 4 years. I've been watching Fallujah on TV. I prayed and I said, God, if you send me here, it'd be an honor to go out there. The next day the phone rang and it was a recruiter. I was going to Fallujah.
Known as Operation Phantom Fury, the plan calls for General Natonski's overwhelming force to sweep through the city in just 48 hours. November 8th, 2004. 3rd Battalion, 5th Marine, heads into northern Fallujah's Jolan district. Intelligence predicts this is where they will meet the heaviest resistance. They have 25 hours to reach their next objective, a rendezvous with the armored divisions at the highway around 2 miles away that cuts the city in two. Phase Line Fran. Marine Squad Leader Corporal R.J. Mitchell is part of the initial push into Fallujah.
As a squad leader, your primary weapon is those other guys. And that's a great responsibility and a great feeling.
One of those men in Mitchell's squad is Lance Corporal Alex Nichol.
Looking at every crevice and every corner because they could be people hidden anywhere.
It doesn't take long for their team to be face to face with the enemy.
That's about a block in. We got a pretty good wake-up call.
We're immediately in a firefight. I could hear gunfire all over the place. My Marines were firing back at targets.
At the first intersection, there's just a guy sitting behind a machine gun, like 50 feet away, and he starts lighting us up.
My mission at that point is to consolidate my Marines. No amount of training prepares you to walk around a corner and see somebody bent on just killing you face to face.
It doesn't take long for Mitchell's squad to gain control of the situation. But this is just the beginning.
We knew that it was going to be this way in the city of Fallujah from this point on, or worse. We knew that we would have to fight every inch, every step, every block of that street.
Sergeant Earl J. Catagnas is a sniper assigned to the 3-5 Marines and a military historian.
You never go through a doorway. You always make your own breach, your hole in the side of the building, you go through it. But because the windows were barred and the masonry construction, they had to go through the doors.
Sergeant Marty Gonzalez and his team of 3rd Battalion 5th Marines are one of the many squads patrolling in the Jolan district. He knows every house they enter is a potential death trap.
I've been taking bleed, point man, and going through the door first. And when you walk through the front door of a house, they're shooting at that door. So you want to get out of there as quick as possible. Lance Corporal Peyton, my 2nd fire team leader, came up to me and said, "Hey, Sergeant, I know you've been clearing the doors first. I want a shot." And I kind of felt reluctant at the time, but I have to give him that opportunity.
Standard Marine operating procedure to clear a building is Marines 1 and 2 enter the house. Marines 3 and 4 provide covering fire. Point man is the danger position.
Lance Corporal Peyton ran up the stairwell. As soon as I make entry into the living room, I hear like a whole bunch of M16 fire. I immediately take off running up the stairs. Next thing I know, the grenade came out and Pope Fisher yelled, "Grenade."
The insurgents have access to a virtually unlimited number of Russian grenades from the stockpile of Saddam's regime. These offer a kill zone of between 65 to 100 feet. But reflected by the solid brick and cement-walled houses of Fallujah, the explosive force massively increases to deadly effect.
Peyton was in the doorway, and it flew all his leg matter all over us in the hallway. I started yelling, "Throw grenades," and proceeded to throw the grenades into the room. I can see an insurgent moving around. I immediately shoot him in the head, and I started shooting into the wall lockers. As I shot him, I see his body come out, I immediately turn to the right and I see an RPG aimed in at the doorway. I start firing at him. I keep shooting him and he keeps moving. This guy won't die. I reloaded and started shooting the guy some more. What really was happening was his body bounced off the ground. And this was the first time I had been this close to shooting someone. You're becoming a killer. Everything you were taught basically is thrown out the window. You take gloves off, you start fighting. You realize you're getting on their level. You're hunting them, they're hunting you. The better hunter wins.
Gonzalez then turns to aid his downed Marine.
I could see Peyton was in a lot of pain. It was really hard for me. It just felt like, why him? It could have been me. Why did he have to ask? It was like he knew something was going to happen in that doorway, and he took me out of the equation.
Lance Corporal Peyton is medevaced out, but ultimately dies from his injuries. As the battle rages on, an estimated 4 U.S. soldiers are killed a day, and more than 30 wounded. All over the city, U.S. forces are discovering that taking Fallujah is going to be bloodier than anyone thought.
They wanted to kill Americans. There's no question about it. They always feel that the United States is not willing to suffer casualties. And so I think in that sense, by killing a lot of Americans,